When I woke up, my bedroom ceiling went down.
Sherry Lyle awoke Monday to find her bedroom a mess.
I raised up and I was thinking train. And then I saw the ceiling and I'm like, the train is coming through the house.
Instead, a massive tree crashed into her home, knocking the house off its foundation, warping the ceiling and poking holes through the roof. Her home is now destroyed.
You never think it happened to you.
In Jonesboro,
we've been slammed, basically. We've had trees down from the west end of Jonesboro all the way through the east end of Jonesboro.
Several trees barely missed other homes. Instead, they snapped power lines.
We heard a transformer somewhere down in there blow.
And forced those who had one to rely on a generator.
I know those guys are busy today. A lot of power out here in town.
I would say it could be nightfall or later before some power is restored.
Downed trees blocked traffic and shut down streets. Crews spent the morning clearing the debris. But the cleanup here is just beginning.
We'll be picking that brush up for weeks.
In Telford, the recovery will take much longer. Lyle, who doesn't have a job or insurance, prepares to start over.
What are we going to do now? Whew.
A city park far away from the nearest road is one of the few places you'll find a sign spinner in Johnson City. Mike Wright may train here.
Someone just had to text me and mess up my groove.
But he works elsewhere.
What we've been doing is actually spinning in other cities.
Since Johnson City basically shut down Arrow Advertising, the business has become a shadow of what it used to be, much to the company's frustration.
It is a right to commercial free speech.
There's no freedom of speech. We don't regulate the content of the sign. But we do have the authority to regulate the manner and location.
Using that authority, city planners are pushing to keep these public street corners empty. They say city sidewalks are now safer for both drivers and spinners.
The sign spinner went out to get the sign on one occasion and almost got hit by a vehicle.
At the request of Arrow Advertising, the city is reluctantly giving the Regional Planning Commission the option to change the city's sign ordinance.
The staff itself is opposed to these signs.
Despite that opposition, talk of any change is a good sign for this business.
This is about humans with a right to have a job.
Come here.
Ray Balzer is one of the lucky ones.
I have a good well, so I'm able to pump water to my animals.
His horses don't have to worry about going thirsty, and neither does his family. But in this farm community, several of his neighbors are without that luxury.
It would be a pretty scary feeling.
Just down the road, you won't find Pauletta Blankenship's hose running.
Between washing clothes, showers, just your basic need, it becomes hard.
She spends most of the week conserving water.
You don't go stinking, but you shower at least maybe 2-3 times a week versus every day or twice a day.
Dry weather and a lack of utilities around this part of Washington County have her and many neighbors struggling. When you throw a rock down a well around here, you hear nothing but a thud. Many wells are either dry or contaminated.
That's a desperate situation, but the fact of the matter is it's by no means unique.
According to the county mayor's office, 131 miles of county road face a similar plight. In the past, the counties relied on grant money to bring city water to people in need. But with a new administration comes new ideas.
Within 10 years, we want to have extended water to 90% of that 131 miles of county roads.
The county mayor's office wants to create a regional water authority or utility district to help speed up the process. That would provide more money to make water here a possibility. Homeowners can only hope that plan holds water.
We'll be patient as long as they don't forget about us.
In Washington County, Nate Morabito, 11 Connects. Inside this dry cleaning business, workers move fast and furious, much like the people who drive by their storefront.
These people are flying through a parking lot. It's all day, but it happens a lot in the mornings. It's almost like people are rushing to work.
The nearby intersection is known for its heavy traffic and red light cameras. Don't think drivers haven't noticed.
A lot more people are cutting through here because they're trying to probably dodge that.
After similar close calls in front of Food City, managers at the grocery store called police looking for help.
Overall safety is to go to the red light, okay? That's what that's designed for.
Although officers have stepped up patrols here, they say using this shortcut is not illegal. After all, there are no private signs prohibiting drivers from cutting through. But if someone speeds or endangers another person's life in this parking lot, police can press charges.
Be mindful that there are a lot of people that are walking about in the parking lot, and we'd hate to see something bad happen there.
Barbara Reppert would hate to see it too. Some of those people are her customers.
I've got people carrying clothes through, and it's getting dangerous.
We had a good 3 to 4 inches of water come in the back door last night.
Only a few puddles remain inside this cab company today.
We just done a lot of heavy mopping this morning.
A downtown business that's used to breaking out the mops and fans.
We probably have had 30 or 40 different floods since I've been here.
Monday's flood damage was nothing compared to what dispatcher Charles Stanley's witnessed over the years.
Good morning, this Deb Cab can help you.
His office once looked like a fishbowl.
I've seen it as high as 3 foot deep in here in my office.
Stanley isn't the first to experience downtown's floods. They started in the late 1800s, in the early days of this railroad town. When Henry Johnson founded Johnson City, he did so with the railroad in mind. After all, steam engines can't run without water.
If you choose the lowest point on the map, that's a good place for the trains to come and collect their water as Johnson's Depot.
That lowest point is where two creeks come together. The idea spurred the growth of the city around the water source.
In order to maximize the land in the downtown area, they started building buildings over the creek.
But that growth had unexpected consequences. Today, water still rushes beneath several downtown buildings. When there's a heavy rain, there's limited space underground for that water to go.
Number 94, Bob, go ahead.
That's why it usually ends up inside businesses like WW Cab.
I sure will. I'll be right back with you, okay?
Stanley wants the problem dispatched for good.
It's time to get something done about it, okay?
In Johnson City, Nate Morabito, 11 Connects.
It certainly is about safety for the children.
When Washington County Director of Schools Ron Dykes received this letter from the Department of Education, he knew he would have no choice but to turn students away from school if they failed to get their shots up to date.
Primarily we did so simply because it's the law.
But Johnson City schools took a different approach. Classes at Indian Trail Middle School were packed as usual today. The district welcomed all students, shots or no shots.
We do not consider this issue one of a health concern at this time. There's no outbreak.
If that changes, Dr. Deborah Bentley says the school system will send the kids in question home. In the meantime, the school is giving students a pass.
We'll be working with the parents until we receive the documentation. We do not read the regulation as one that students must be exempt from attending school.
The state law states that no child shall be permitted to attend any public school until proof of immunization is given.
Although one Indian Trail parent thinks the district should follow that law,
they should be turned away from school until they have their immunizations.
School administrators think that would lead to a major disruption.
We just don't think that is the appropriate route to go for a child's education.
1 and 2.
At first glance,
we've done our best to make it just how you expect prom to be.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary at this prom. From the keepsake photos,
and one more,
to the corsages and boutonnieres. Dressed in their finest, about a dozen area teens attended the first prom of their lives Saturday night.
I'm really glad that these kids are going to get to have what I had, because I feel like sometimes they get left out.
Christian Potter went to her prom last week.
It was probably the most fun night of my life.
This Saturday night, the Range Community Christian Church member helped recreate the experience for some of her peers. The kids at this prom are about the same age as Potter, but they differ in one way. All have special needs. Without this effort, Thomas Miller might never be able to say he attended prom. What do you think about all this?
Night. Cool.
While some prom goers, like Miller, have mental handicaps, others,
I've been to dances, I've just never been to a prom,
come from emotionally abusive backgrounds.
Some of us come from a rough family.
Rania Youssef never dreamed she'd get this chance.
I came from a family that didn't believe in prom or like going to dances and dressing up cute.
With that in mind, the goal of Saturday's dance was simple.
I want to see everyone walk out the front door with the biggest smiles on their faces.
So you dig wrong.
If the celebration that followed was any indication, this church accomplished that mission. And these kids weren't the only ones who left smiling.
We've made a difference tonight, and that's a good feeling.
In Carter County, Nate Morabito, 11 Connects.